Amazon's grocery business model is falling apart. Despite its global domination of the online shopping space, the largest e-commerce enterprise in the world, with an annual revenue of over $450 billion, is struggling to survive in one of the most prominent retail categories. And now, mass store shutdowns and layoffs are being announced, proving that the retail apocalypse is victimizing even the biggest companies in the industry. In fact, a new analysis shows that very soon, Whole Foods, Amazon Go, and Amazon convenience stores may disappear for good from the U.S. economic landscape. There has never been so much pressure in the sector as retailers are facing right now. And the downfall of these food retail chains should be a wake-up call for everyone. That's what we're going to expose today. But before moving on, we kindly ask you to support our work with a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming videos. Not very long ago, Amazon expected there to be hundreds, if not thousands, of its grocery stores nationwide. The company went big and bold with its diversified brick-and-mortar strategy, operating hundreds of Whole Foods stores and opening dozens of cashier-less Amazon Fresh and Amazon Go stores in recent years. Unfortunately, they have never lived up to those expectations, and now it's getting increasingly clear that its entrance into the grocery business may have been a miscalculation for the e-commerce giant. During the company's latest earnings call, CEO Andy Jassy admitted that Amazon still hasn't nailed down a successful model when it comes to the grocery sector. Jassy revealed that many locations are about to be closed and that the retailer is canceling plans to expand its chains until it figures out how to differentiate them from established competitors in the market. This action came after its growth results showed figures that were significantly below expectations. Its fresh supermarkets and cashier-less convenience stores saw a sales boom during the pandemic, but since the second half of 2021, foot traffic has sharply declined, and the company's revenue is steadily shrinking. Jassy's remarks demonstrate that despite Amazon's announcement a year ago that it would concentrate on grocery sales and shut down its bookstores, the added focus wasn't enough to beat the wave of store closings spurred by the retail apocalypse. Even though the grocery market is a strong spending category, the e-commerce titan is failing to prove its relevance in the category. According to Leslie Hansel of Riverbend Consulting, a consultancy firm, an expert Amazon seller, the company's grocery pullback is coming amid a worsening landscape for retail. Amazon is sending out some mixed messages about the grocery category. So, not long ago, the new CEO, Andy Jassy, said they're doubling down in grocery. Now it turns out they're actually pausing development of some of their Amazon Fresh grocery stores and shuttering several locations that they don't think really have the opportunity to survive and thrive in the current economic circumstances, Hansel explained. Grocery stores traditionally survive on very thin margins, but Amazon does not have a history of surviving on thin margins, the expert added. Earlier this year, Wedbush securities analyst Michael Pachter told Reuters that Amazon's investment in an underdeveloped business model for the grocery category was a big waste of money. Retail is a tough business. They flushed money down the toilet pursuing Amazon Fresh stores and thinking they could brand a new concept and capture share from retailers who have been successful for decades. In contrast, the online shopping giant is now having to introduce several cost-cutting measures to its brick-and-mortar business. Last week, Amazon revealed it's postponing the construction of its second headquarters in Northern Virginia, outside of Washington, D.C. In January, it confirmed plans to cut 18,000 jobs from its global workforce. And on Monday, Andy Jassy said in a memo to staff that the retailer is going to eliminate an additional 9,000 jobs in the next few weeks. The job cuts would mark the second largest round of layoffs in the company's history, bringing the 2023 total to 27,000 people made redundant. However, Jassy noted that Amazon is not done making final decisions on which roles will be eliminated, and in the next couple of months, more roles could be on the chopping block. At the moment, the retailer is closing 1/3 of its Amazon Go stores, shuttering all locations in the city of San Francisco by April 1st, as well as many stores in Manhattan and in its hometown of Seattle. Meanwhile, Whole Foods Market, its natural and organic foods chain, announced that it's shuttering dozens of supermarkets in 4 states. The affected stores are located in Alabama, California, Massachusetts, and Illinois. A spokesperson said that the closures have been fueled by declining sales and persistent underperformance. The decision was made public right after Amazon reported that Whole Foods Markets faced the highest quarterly loss in 7 years. Many industry analysts questioned the viability of the grocery chain. Unfortunately, Amazon right now does not have any strategy for physical grocery stores, just a bunch of ideas, said retail consultant Britain Ladd, who formerly worked as a strategist for the company's grocery business. Amazon's biggest mistake was not following up its Whole Foods acquisition with any meaningful integration or expansion of the brand, Ladd explained. Did the Whole Foods acquisition set the world on fire, he said? No. Did it take market share? No. Amazon should have leveraged the Whole Foods brand name, but the company ultimately lost its nerve, Ladd argues. It has learned a painful lesson that technology alone is not enough, he stressed. Similarly, grocery industry consultant Bill Bishop told the Philadelphia Inquirer that Amazon's purchase of Whole Foods may have been a strategic error for the company. Everyone is buying more everywhere, but total customers are actually down for Whole Foods, Michael Maloof, another industry expert at Earnest Research, told the Inquirer. Whole Foods is in a uniquely horrible place. In fact, according to analysts at Retail Wire, Amazon's grocery business may not survive another 5 years, especially considering the threat of a severe economic downturn. In 2017, when the company acquired Whole Foods Market, a purchase that then led to an influx of investment in the grocery delivery space while competitors strived to match the service, the future looked promising. But many mainstream grocery giants such as Kroger used their buying power to compete with Whole Foods' niche, and the latter chain lagged very fast, highlights Global Data Managing Director Neil Saunders. The pandemic made it look like things were going to continue to go well for Whole Foods due to its home delivery system and consumers' shift away from physical retail shops. But after the economy reopened, its brick-and-mortar sales fell by 16% and only went further down from there. Another challenge facing the future of the company is that as a big business, the brand has lost much of its reputation for buying and selling local, an attribute that is appealing to the Whole Foods customer, the expert continued. In recent years, the company has tried to maximize profits by shifting to a centralized purchasing model, similar to those of other mainstream supermarket chains. Consequently, this has left less shelf space for locally grown or produced products, damaging its reputation of being a business that stimulates consumers to support small businesses. On top of all that, its grocery chains are known for being on the pricier side compared to its competitors. As organic foods become more popular, lining shelves even at discount grocers like Aldi, Whole Foods is losing its customer base, Saunders noted. To make things worse for the grocer, its customer service has a reputation for being surly, which undermines the justification for premium pricing, he adds. Competing against Walmart and failing to distinguish itself compared to companies like Trader Joe's and Target, which have built devoted customer bases for their private label offerings and already have consumers in their pocket, may undermine Amazon's grocery store chains sooner than the company imagines. particularly at a time when the average US consumer is cash-strapped and stick to what they know and are familiar with. Even being such a giant in tech, the retailer really did not consider the competitive landscape in the food category. I think Amazon wants to compete where they can't compete, said Kaumil Karajwala, managing director of Credit Suisse during the Grocery Shop panel. Its lack of distinguished branding or popularized private label products is a major reason for the company's failure to win over loyal customers of other chains. There's no unique differentiation towards what they're selling, so it's a very middle-of-the-road concept, noted Rupesh Parikh, senior equity research analyst for Oppenheimer & Co. Not even its online product range seems that impressive. People want to go to their local stores to touch and feel the produce and the meat, and there's a big switching cost here to go to some new store you're not familiar with. A lot of folks never embraced Amazon's grocery business online because of the premium pricing and not being able to choose produce. If they can't figure out that model and how to do this business on thin margins, in 5 years all of the stores could be gone, the analyst forecasted. There's no question that Amazon have paved the way for e-commerce to be popular and to make shopping on the internet a time-saving, pleasurable experience. However, success across every product category doesn't always follow the same path, and Amazon is experiencing that firsthand with its supermarket chains right now. When even such a massive and resource-rich company fails to adapt to the unforgiving brick-and-mortar retail sector, that begs the question of how smaller brands are really doing in such a troubled environment at this moment. Considering the pace at which things are unraveling right now, it won't take too long before many other companies start announcing mass closures and layoffs as well. Conditions for businesses are getting significantly worse, and the pressure to keep up and stay afloat has never been so intense. But the red flags are starting to emerge everywhere, and unless Amazon reformulates its entire business model, its grocery store chains will continually be stuck in a permanent limbo.